this morning, so that he's going to be, at least you'd think, maybe 2 to 4 weeks out, as now the two sets of players intermingle. They hold aloft a Ukrainian flag, and in black letters it spells out the word peace, as they stand also behind a banner that says peace, either side of the England flag to our left and the Ukrainian flag to our right, and that gesture as well also gets an ovation from this Wembley crowd. Certainly that game at Hampden, it was the first football match after Russia's invasion after 98 days. It certainly carried the significance and symbolised a lot more than just a football game. Peace, hope, unity and freedom. And now we're approaching, what, 400 days since that war began, and still that nightmare for the Ukrainians goes on. Well, that was then their first competitive match in 7 months. They beat Scotland by 3 goals to 1. And now here we are as they are preparing for their first game after an absence of 6 months since they last played. They've been in London for the week. They proposed friendly against Ecuador, scheduled for Thursday in Alicante, was cancelled, so Brentford's B-side provided the warm-up for this, their first qualifier, and they have Trubin in goal, a back four of Karavayev, a debut for Alexander Spatok, the Dnipro club captain. Matvienko and Mikolenko make up the rest of that back four. Sudakov, Stepanenko and Zinchenko in the midfield, and then Malinovsky, Yaramchuk and Mudryk make up the Ukrainian side. There is no Yarmolenko, who's nursing a hamstring problem. England, Pickford in goal, Walker, Stones, Maguire and Chilwell. Chilwell's last start was November 21 against Albania. The midfield three is Rice, Henderson and Bellingham, Saka, Kane and Maddison for England. As now the players stand outside the centre circle. England to the left, Ukraine in their all yellow to the right. And our Dutch referee, Serdar Kazopuyuk, as now there will be a tribute paid to the World Cup winner, the Fulham legend, George Cohen.
At the age of 83, the defender played every minute of every game in that World Cup winning campaign. We'll now celebrate his life with a period of applause that will end on the referee's whistle.
Applause to celebrate the Fulham legend. 37 England caps. World Cup winner in '66, who sadly passed away at the age of 83 back in December. So, Dion Dublin, you were out in Naples. Are you expecting England to follow up that performance and that 3 points with another victory here today?
Yeah, I'm hoping so. I just want to see the energy again as soon as this ball's kicked. And England come out the blocks and, you know, let's take the reins off and let the boys play a little bit, because they were brilliant in the first half an hour. Let's see that again. Let's hope they can continue it for a little bit longer.
The referee, the Dutch referee, blows his whistle, and England get us underway in their white jerseys. Navy shorts, playing from left to right against Ukraine, who are all in yellow. And certainly not lacking any support from their vocal supporters over in that far side. But as we were saying as well, there is just a lot of Ukrainian flags with the gesture from the FA in and around us. Really, 1,000 Ukrainians invited free by the FA and their sponsors. As the ball is played up, flicked on, it was Anatoly Trubin, the goalkeeper, as there's an early problem here for Malinowski, who's gone down. Trubin, the keeper, incidentally, who didn't play in either half against the Brentford B side. Zinchenko also didn't play, but it gave them an opportunity to get a run out. It was I think a clash of heads between Chilwell and Malinowski. Malinowski, who missed the quarter-final against England for the Euros in Rome when England won by 4-0. He was out through injury, and here he's picked up an early blow to the head. As we welcome listeners to the BBC World Service, so wherever you are in the world, always a pleasure to have your company. Here we are at Wembley Stadium. We're inside only the second minute of the game, and there's hardly been any football played due to an injury to Malinowski. Dion Dublin.
Yeah, I think it was Chilwell, I think, who did on the back end of Malinowski there, and I just think it may have been a glance of heads or four heads, and Chilwell seems to be okay, and I think he may have caught Malinowski just on the side of his head there, so maybe more shock than a bad injury, but he's up on his feet now and he's walking off the pitch with the physio, so good news.
Well, he's a very important player in the midfield. He's a good technical player. Ruslan Malinowski used to be at Atalanta, and in fact he's currently on a loan spell from the Italian club to Marseille. Iceland are leading in Liechtenstein by a 0-0 in Group H. Earlier there was a bit of a surprise, Kazakhstan beating Denmark by 3-2. That's in Northern Ireland's group. Northern Ireland, who play Finland, kick off at 7:45 later on. But this is Group C. It's England against Ukraine, BBC Radio 5, also available through the BBC Sounds app. As we say, the World Service are now taking our coverage as well, as Chilwell over on that far side, back with Maguire, chips the ball up towards Harry Kane, over his head, collected by Zinchenko, comes under some pressure and goes all the way back. Matvienko then back to the goalkeeper Trubin, didn't run too cleanly towards him, and in the end he had to clear it just inside his penalty area. And now with Maguire, finds Stones, who was superb against Italy, the Manchester City defender. Back with Maguire. Just the odd empty red seat in the top tier over on that far side, but a crowd of in excess of 85,000 here at Wembley Stadium on what has been a damp and grey afternoon, as Maguire passes the ball out. Bellingham very, very deep at the moment to Chilwell, who loses the ball on that left-hand side. And now an opportunity for Ukraine to come forward with Malinowski, who loses to Bellingham, and then it's hit by Stepanenko downfield. Comes up towards Harry Kane, lays it off to Henderson. Henderson, of course, who scored his first England goal against Ukraine in Rome at the 62nd attempt. But that loose ball has been picked up. They try and get Mudryk round the back, but there was Walker just to see off the threat of Mudryk. Then they've given the ball away. This is Yuramchuk. Yuramchuk just outside the penalty area, flicks it, and then the shot comes in from Sudakov. And that was blocked, and it runs through to Pickford. A little bit sloppy. Yeah,
just a little bit messy there. Kyle Walker doing so well to hold off Mudryk. Mudryk's going on the outside of him, and he just uses his pace and his strength. He turns and he's in control, and then tries a little 1-2 with Saka. They get it wrong, and could have been costly. But a last-ditch defending got him out of trouble there. Just got to be more careful there in the defensive areas. You can't give it away there.
They're a very good side, Ukraine. Obviously they're dealing with so much adversity, but they deservedly beat Scotland in the playoffs. They were the better side against Wales. I mean, realistically, they should have been at the World Cup, but it was Hennessy who was in inspired form in Cardiff on that sodden afternoon to see Wales through. But Ukraine will pose a threat. They've certainly got the pace with Mudryk, as the ball is played out to Chilwell. Now inside to Maddison. Maddison tries to play it early towards Harry Kane. Flags up on this near side. It'll be a free kick to Ukraine. Incidentally, Jude Bellingham making his 10th appearance at Wembley for England, the first player to reach double figures at the National Stadium as a teenager for England. What a future he has.
Yeah, he's just naturally gifted midfield player. He's got all the attributes you need to just continue to take that 10 appearances up to as much as he wants it to be. Great to watch.
Rice loses out. Yuramchuk plays it forward. Mudryk, though, for the second time, was beaten to the ball by Walker. Walker then back to Pickford. Pickford in an all ultra blue goalkeeping outfit away towards our left now finds Harry Maguire, who carries the ball midway through the England half and then strokes it to a central area to find John Stones. John Stones waits a little bit, then he goes out to his right. Walker finds Jordan Henderson drifting out into space on this near side, just over the halfway line. Ukraine have got everybody back behind the ball, all in yellow. Now it's with Stones in the centre circle. And playing for 6 minutes, still 0-0. Walker with a switch out to the left flank, off the chest of Chilwell, and back with Maguire once again. England being patient.
Yeah, they are, and you know, it's kind of what I expected as well. I expected Maddison under good control of the ball, England, that he'll just drift into that 10 role, and Chilwell will find his way down on the left wing, heels on the lines, and Saka's doing the same on this side.
There is Chilwell, as you can hear Ukrainian voices from that huge support over on the far side. Ball then spread out towards Saka, didn't keep the ball in play as it dropped over his shoulder, and out for a Ukrainian throw on this near side, the left, which Mykolenko will take, the Everton defender. Number, of course, of familiar players. Mykolenko, Zinchenko, no stranger to appearing at Wembley with his Manchester City days. Started the 6-0 drubbing of Watford in the FA Cup final. A couple of League Cup final appearances as well in his City days as well. And also Mudryk, who really did catch the eye when he made his debut at Hampden on the 1st of June last year. And subsequently, as we know, has signed for, what was it, £70 million and an 8.5-year deal at Stamford Bridge. That ball's been given away. And Maddison is lost the ball and then is being pursued by Svatok. It goes out of play for an England throw. The blonde-haired central defender quickly gets back into an area alongside Matvienko. And of course they're missing another player who should be playing soon in the Premier League, as Harry Kane, looking to turn, goes down. That's strong penalty appeals there. Looked like he had his legs taken away from him. And the challenge from Svatok.
Surprised, very surprised.
Bellingham picks it up now. Bellingham driving into the midfield and pounced upon by Trubin. Of course, Paul van Boekel is the VAR, so that will be checked as a matter of course. Looks a little cumbersome, didn't it?
Yeah, it did. And you know, we're just looking at the replay here and just watching Harry Kane. Yeah, I think that's a lazy leg. I really do. I think that might be a penalty. Yeah, I think he's lifted his foot above the ball. Harry Kane's 4 yards on the angle, just on the angle near the corner of the 6-yard box, and if he doesn't get brought down, Harry Kane doesn't go down there when he can score a goal. I think that's a penalty.
Well, the player who we eventually you would think would see in the Premier League is Ilya Zabani, but since he arrived at Bournemouth he hasn't played, hasn't featured at all due to injury, and that's the reason why Svatok is playing there alongside Matvienko, because otherwise Zabani and Matvienko are the established central defensive pairing for Ukraine. 9 minutes played, ball hasn't gone out of play yet. That's the only time that we'll able to gauge what VAR have decided. Back it goes to Trubin, the goalkeeper. Matvienko inside his own penalty area now, and he waits, plays it inside, and then that was to Mudryk, and that was a foul. Now there's a stoppage in play. Let's see if VAR does intervene. Certainly Harry Kane's having a word with Serdar Gozalbuyuk, the Dutch referee. And the fact that this free kick is going to be taken, I think, tells you everything. VAR's had a look and move on. Yes,
referee's had no indication, or his body language is just saying, you know, let's just crack on with the game and I don't need to look at anything. We've not been alerted to anything, so here we go. Free kick out wide, and this is why Maddison's probably been brought into the 11 as well for his set-piece prowess.
10 minutes played, England 0, Ukraine 0. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. Free kick near side to right, about 6 yards in from the touchline. Maddison to take it right-footed, arcs its way into the penalty area. Maguire, Stones both had a touch, the first with his head, Stones then with his right boot. Back it goes towards Maguire. Svatok, though, gets in front, and then Malinovsky's sent scampering away on that right-hand side. And Walker did well, actually. He goes into the left-back area on that far side to cover, and back to Pickford.
I think if you're the last man, and he's done it so well, Kyle Walker, if you're the last man and you can see all the play and your team are attacking, you stay in the centre of the pitch, anything left you can get to, anything right you can get to, and with his pace, doesn't surprise me he got there first.
Ball played forward. Chilwell racing after it. Chilwell now with a cross on the run. Just goes away from Harry Kane, and Saka can't keep the ball in play with an outstretched right boot. It goes behind and out for a goal kick to Ukraine, 0-0.
Yeah, I mean, Chilwell flying down the left-hand side, it just puts the ball into an area. I'm actually hoping that Saka can get up level with Harry Kane. The ball's just a little bit in front of him. His touch takes it out for a goal kick. But better though, positive.
Trubin, Shakhtar Donetsk goalkeeper. They beat the England press, played out to Mykolenko, goes forward midway through his own half. Sudakov with a little layoff. Malinovsky not really playing out wide right. They're going into a central area. That's creating a lot of space for Karavayev, the right back, to get forward, as Walker was quick to close down Sudakov. Now it's with Henderson and Bellingham, with Stones, and now Rice takes over inside the centre circle, and Maddison, as he sometimes often does for Leicester City, drifts into a central area, and that likewise provides the space for Chilwell to get forward on that far side. Maguire left of the centre circle. Chilwell high up the pitch on that far side, the England left, plays it back. Rice, here is Bellingham, forward ball. Kane with a layoff. Bellingham, challenge came in. Ukraine get it away. Sudakov, Mudryk is the outlet with his pace, chipped over the top of Walker. That's going to be a fascinating duel, isn't it, between Kyle Walker and Mudryk throughout the afternoon. And
I think Mudryk knows that, you know, he's met his match in Kyle Walker, and that will change the mindset of Mudryk as well. Do I knock it and run? Do I have to pick out another player to play a 1-2 round Kyle Walker?
See, the thing is that because Malinovsky's not necessarily staying out wide right all the time, Chilwell has that licence now. There is that space for him to move into and get forward.
Yeah, but that's Maddison's footballing brain as well. If he steps inside, then Chilwell's got the space outside. So they would have worked on that in training. Little relationships between Maddison and Chilwell.
Ball played up to Maddison. Triangular passing pattern between Bellingham, Maddison and Chilwell, and then Bellingham spreads it out to this near side, the right, bounces onto the chest for Saka, plays a diagonal ball infield. Zinchenko comes away with Ukraine, finds Malinovsky inside the centre circle. Malinovsky on the halfway line holds on to the ball and then plays it back to Matvienko. The shield in front of that back four is Stepanenko. Probably be replaced later on by Sidorchuk, but Stepanenko, with his experience, 74th cap for his country, now with Matvienko. Approaches the halfway line, finds Sudakov. Sudakov under pressure from Bellingham, had to turn. Played forward then by Svatok. Sudakov keeps it with Ukraine. Ruslan Rotan, the interim manager, straying out of his technical area with his enthusiasm and eagerness for what is an extremely busy time for him. If he was in the circus, he'd be a juggler. He's balancing three jobs: the national team, the under-21s, and also the coach of Alexandria. Here is Yaramchuk. Flag stays down, and Yaramchuk, late flag. He's put it wide, but it was a late flag. Yaramchuk didn't even hit the target.
No, I think he was trying to find that space in between Maguire and Stones, and he did find it. But as we look at the replay, he's 2 yards off, he's 3 yards off. I don't know why the linesman on that occasion can't just say, listen, it's clear, put your flag up, let's move on.
That's the voice of the former England international Dion Dublin, who's with us here at Wembley Stadium. We've been playing for nearly a quarter of an hour. It remains 0-0. Saka picks it up right-hand side, goes infield. Henderson just outside the penalty area. A little bit of hesitation from Henderson. Curling ball though to Chilwell, stabs it into the penalty area, blocked, comes back to Chilwell, and then Stepanenko gets there before Maddison and puts the ball out of play for a throw.
Yeah, Henderson just ran out of ideas there. Henderson in the middle of the park, he was on his left foot, tried to get it out to Chilwell. A bit messy in there at the moment for England in that midfield. Haven't really taken charge at all. In the wide areas we're looking okay, but in the middle of the park we seem to be giving the ball away too easily.
I think Karavayev has been winded, so the Dutch referee just stopped play before Karavayev was in a position to continue. England's throw, far side the left, into to Harry Kane. Harry Kane, 30 yards out from goal, holds on to the ball, plays it back. Maguire. Everybody bar Stones is in the Ukrainian half. Spreads it out to this near side. Walker forward to Saka, coming in off the right touchline. Walker's gone on ahead of him, and then the cross there from Saka, patted down by the goalkeeper. There's an opportunity there for Maddison to go for the ball, and as he went with it around knee height, he might have just gone and caught Anatoly Trubin, the young Ukrainian keeper. He had to go for it after the keeper had spilt it. Sure.
Yeah, I think the Ukrainian defence thought that the keeper got it. They were just about to. Yeah, Maddison gets it. He drops it. He completely drops it. Maddison goes for it. He gets to it as well. Maybe the referee's thinking studs are showing. Maybe on that occasion, but he gets to the ball first. Follow through. Maybe caught Trubin. Referee blows.
Interesting though that I know Zinchenko didn't play in either half against the Brentford B in the warm-up game earlier in the week, but for Trubin, who not to feature at all, because Shevchenko, the third choice keeper, played second half, and Lunin, who's at Real Madrid, played the first half. You'd have thought it'd have given the keeper at least 45 minutes in preparation for this game.
Yeah, because this was always going to be a difficult game for him as well. And as we look at the keeper, Trubin is actually down, and they've got an ice pack on his head. Hopefully he'll be okay. But you're right, I think you need a few minutes when you come into a game like this one first. He's okay, he's up on his feet, which is good news.
He's only his fourth cap. His third cap was in that 3-0 defeat against Scotland in the Nations League, but the domestic league restarted in March. He plays his football for Shakhtar Donetsk, and the teams from the Donbass region in the east of the country have all been relocated to western cities such as Lviv or Kiev. They are currently 3 points clear of Dnipro, but he's all right to continue now. Is Trubin, all in green away towards our right, and 18 minutes played, it remains 0-0. Hesitates. England can't try and press Matvienko, who gets the ball out of his penalty area. Stepanenko with a flick header doesn't quite come off, and Ukraine lose the ball. Maddison finds Rice. England, of course, were terrific first-half performance in Naples, but at the minute haven't really created anything of note in these opening 18 minutes here at Wembley against Ukraine. Stones, Maguire, out to Chilwell, far side, infield to Rice. Rice being pursued by Sudakov, and back with Maguire once again, edging his way towards the centre circle. He finds Jordan Henderson on his 75th appearance for his country, turns and finds Saka. Mykolenko backpedals as Saka comes forward, then easily read by Stepanenko to break up that play, and then Yaramchuk couldn't hold on to the ball and Ukraine lose it. That's going to be their problem at the minute, because Yaramchuk's going to get isolated. Yeah,
we've got to do a little bit better with the ball at our feet. Guessing help to Saka as quick as possible.
Henderson wins a corner off the legs of Matvienko. I think the tempo needs to be a little bit quicker from England.
Yeah, I do, and just the quality of the passing to each other as well. The more touches you take, the better defensive positions Ukraine can take. So move it quickly, force them to get into those spaces earlier, and hopefully we'll get in behind them.
Ruslan Rotan was saying that he fears England at set pieces. That's what they paid particular attention to in the build-up to this game. Chilwell with a corner kick, near side the right, goes deep. Harry Kane was a mark, but it was headed away by Karavayev. Hooked back towards Chilwell by Henderson. Chilwell swings over another cross. There was Harry Kane, gets his header up at the far post, but it was a tame header that was easily saved by Trubin. But England's probably, first shot on target?
I just think it's a difficult one for Harry Kane, far post. It's a looping cross, it's bending, it's swirling. He's got to put power and pace on it. He's never really going to trouble the keeper from that position, but yeah, got to get in those positions, and if you are getting those positions, the wide areas, you're going to have to put quality in the box for Harry Kane.
Svatok looked towards Karavayev, who'd got forward from his right-back role, but Chilwell got there first, then England, that was a poor challenge on Bellingham. Svatok might be in trouble here, he might be getting a yellow card. Zinchenko might be talking himself into the referee's book as well for speaking out of turn. But Bellingham was caught late by the central defender.
Yeah, and it was very interesting to see Zinchenko there. He wasn't happy with the decision at all. and he sort of sprinted towards the referee, and as he got halfway started to walk very slowly, just in case it looked aggressive. So the captain tried to help his teammate out there, Jude Bellingham receiving the ball, and I just think Svatov may have just gone over the ball there. One of those with the studs on top of the boot, which are very painful.
Zinchenko, though, might have done him a favour after all, because I thought he was going to get a yellow card.
I thought he was going to get a yellow card.
The referee hasn't produced anything.
Didn't. Maybe Zinchenko's calmed the referee down somewhat, but we don't want to see yellow cards all the time, but I thought that was a little bit clumsy.
21 minutes played, still 0-0. England then with a free kick. 20 yards out. Chilwell scoops it into the penalty box. It's headed away by Svatov, and then lifted back by Maguire. That bouncing ball might fall kindly to Yaramchuk, who heads it down to Sudakov. Sudakov then exchanges passes with Zinchenko. And Zinchenko now captain in the absence of Yarmolenko, threads a little ball back, and they're creeping down the pitch here, Ukraine. And then Mudryk and Zinchenko playing in midfield, back to Svatov once again. So what have you made of the first half so far, Dion?
You know, I think England have done okay, but you never know.
And now it's with Malinovsky coming forward for Ukraine, and Malinovsky's shot, that was blocked, and then Rice gets it away. England now will look to come forward at the with Saka. So we're midway through the first half. It's England 0, Ukraine 0, and to take you through to half-time, here's our correspondent John Murray.
Thank you, Ian. So Ukraine in possession. Their blonde-haired captain, the Arsenal man, top of the Premier League, Zinchenko, just turns and with his left foot just passes it back to Matvienko. Behind him, the left-sided central defender, he has Mudryk of Chelsea through the middle, but passes the ball straight into the path of John Stones, who's able to play it away. So far, the first quarter of the match, it's been mainly England possession and mainly Ukraine defence. And there have been one or two shaky moments in the Ukrainian defence, but generally the penalty area has been so congested and it just hasn't dropped to England. And I'm like you, Dion, initial feeling was that might have been a penalty for Harry Kane very early on in the match, but when you saw it again...
Yes, well, no, I still think it was a pen.
Yeah.
I'm going to stick with it. I still think it was a pen. I can't see Harry Kane going down when he's got a chance to score a goal from 4 yards on the angle.
Yeah. 6:06 tonight, by the way, on 5 Live with Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton. And here's Chilwell on the left-hand side. 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC currently. Listen as well via BBC Sounds. It's 0-0. England, after their winning 3 points in the opening match in Naples on Thursday night. The target, obviously, is to make it 6 out of 6. And the message very much this week has been that will only be a great result for England on Thursday if they can follow it up with a win here today. Saka down the right wins a throw-in. England have mainly focused in this opening period on James Maddison over towards the left-hand side. And as we were discussing before the match, he is dropping in from a wider position, and here he is now in that very position, and he's bundled over, and it's a free kick to England just forward and left of the centre circle. Malinovsky just leaning into him. Yeah,
Maddison just taking it from right foot to left foot. I think the pitch is too slow for England. I think the pitch looks dry and the grass looks long and it's too slow.
Maguire plays it to Saka. Now in from Henderson. Stretch from Kane. He missed it. And then it's turned across from Bellingham. The ball rattling in the 6-yard box. Bounces for Ukraine. And they're able to clear towards the halfway line.
Wow, Harry Kane on the far post. I'm thinking, just get something on it, H. Just get it towards goal. Get
your golden boots on.
Exactly. Or one of them, I don't care. Harry Kane, of all the people for it to forward to, it's on his left foot. It's a difficult finish. But I'm thinking Harry Kane will just get his laces on it. Not too far away from goal, and just got it wrong on that occasion. You can't say that very much, can you, about Harry Kane?
You cannot. Here now is Walker on the right-hand side. Walker just puts his foot on the ball, gives it to Saka, and now the Arsenal man goes for the byline against Mikolenko, the Everton left back. Saka brings it back, then he's bundled over, shoved over by Mikolenko, and it's a free kick to England in the Ukraine left back area. Correction, Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton with 6:06 today. Sure, that's not what I read earlier, but it is Aaron, so you'll be very welcome on the programme. And I'll let you know in the second half when the lines are open. Free kick in a good position here, and as Ian said, the Ukraine very aware of the set-piece danger.
Yes, and the two centre-halves coming up. There's your danger. Maguire and Stones, they're the ones that look to get on the end of it. 3 players round the ball. It's about 5 yards away from the corner flag on the right-hand side as we attack. Maddison's over it.
Maddison just having a little word with the Dutch assistant referee. So it is Maddison now with the set-piece delivery on his first start for England, his second cap. Maddison into the near post, but it's headed away for Ukraine. Back out to Henderson, Jordan Henderson, now back to full fitness, which explains, or at least as Gareth Southgate was telling us, the reason that he wasn't involved on the pitch for England on Thursday night. Here's Bellingham, who's already withstood a couple of heavy challenges. And now Maddison turns the full 360 degrees and then back again as the challenge came in on him from Stepanenko. He left him, he was swinging a boot at fresh air as Maddison ran away from him. England have got it back in the centre circle. Stones, that's the sort of thing that all of the Maddison supporters wanted to see from him in an England shirt. Henderson now down the right. Saka, Zinchenko's into his teammate. Henderson's now got it into the penalty area. Maddison with a touch, but it's stabbed away, and it should be cleared away. In fact, it's cleared into the knees of Henderson and bounces back past Mikalenko for a goal kick to Ukraine. England 0, Ukraine 0. And Dion Dublin's here with us in the 5 Live commentary box at Wembley.
Yeah, I don't think either wide man, Saka or Maddison, even Chilwell down the left-hand side, has been able to have a one-on-one with their opposite number. Just because they're getting back, they're doubling up. Just seeing a replay on our screens here of Harry Kane. We're getting a close-up of his boots as well. New white boots, there's a bit of writing on them as well. I can't quite see it, but...
As a design, there's quite a nice design actually. I was being shown a picture of them yesterday, these special boots that he's wearing. He didn't get where he is today by missing chances like that. England 0, Ukraine 0, and as well, Dion, sitting on the left of the box as I am, just to my left is where I'm fairly sure this is where the invited guests are. The Ukraine, the people of Ukraine, 1,000 of them who fled the war. You know, there are over 117,000 Ukrainians in this country who have fled Ukraine and have been put up by British families, and they're down here to my left, and actually some of the scenes in there, and they've got some of their host families with them, so there are England flags and Ukraine flags all mingled in together. And I've also noticed people, clearly Ukrainians who know each other from their home country, who've been seeing their friends and greeting one another. It's been quite a sight.
Yeah, big hugs everywhere.
Yeah,
nice to see.
Saka down the right for England, but Mikalenko gets the better of him, clears it away to Mudryk with his blonde hair bobbing. Now Walker races away from Mudryk with the ball, turns, passes it. Henderson with a flick, Saka back to Henderson, and the Liverpool captain with the outside of his boot tried to play it through the middle, but Svatok was able to step across, and the ball is passed out of play by Stepanenko for a throw into England down the right-hand side. Walker against Mudryk is a... So Walker on Thursday night had Spinazzola up against him, and I thought Spinazzola gave him a really good contest.
Yeah, he did, but he likes that, Kyle Walker. He wants to be challenged, you know, he wants to get into fifth gear. He very rarely has to because he's that quick, but you know, these two games are going to test him, definitely.
Top-class, speedy opponents. Here's Rice now for England, scorer of the first goal in Naples on Thursday night, and it was from that point when Rice scored that goal that England very much stepped it up in the first half, if you remember. Here's Saka now receiving it, takes on Mikalenko, plays it past him. Mikalenko knew he'd been beaten there by Saka. The feet were too quick, and Mikalenko stepped in, fouled him, free kick on the right wing.
Yeah, nice bit of skill from Saka. May have got a Megs as well on Mikalenko as he controls it and puts it through his legs. He does. Mikalenko thinks, well, the ball can go past, but you're not going past.
A nutmeg on Mikalenko. Do you think he was taking the Mikalenko?
Oh, dearie me.
Free kick to England on the right.
John Murray, everybody there.
Thank you, Dion. Maddison curls it in, stretch from Kane! And the goalkeeper was coming out, but the offside flag was up. Even on the stretch, he actually put that wide. Young goalkeeper Trubin coming out. He was in no man's land, really, but Kane flagged offside.
Yes, and he is offside. We're watching yeah, he's offside. He's making the run there a little bit later than most of his teammates, and he's stretching, but you know, clearly got it right, the fourth official.
Dion Dublin with us, 5 Live in the World Service, England International. Another England International, Stephen Warnock's also with us on the programme this afternoon. Watching from afar, we'll hear from him at half-time with his thoughts. But Ukraine playing the ball out from the back, short goal kicks, and they are not convincing at all. And I know we say it virtually every week, but Ukraine are not filling me with confidence when they're knocking the ball out from their goal kicks. Kane, as England take possession again, white shirts with the blue shoulders, And now the pass is short from Rice to Saka, so Ukraine have got it back. Mudryk in a more central position, yet to score for Chelsea, yet to score for Ukraine as well. The new signing in January, Mikhailo Mudryk. This is 9th cap. And Ukraine in the all-yellow kit tonight with the blue trim. So many yellow and blue flags of Ukraine around the stadium, and not just in that huge Ukraine section in the corner on the opposite side. They play it forward, but Maguire's able to come across and land the ball out of play on the halfway line for a throw-in that Karavayev, the right back, is going to take. One of the Ukraine-based players with Dynamo Kiev. You know, it's amazing hearing the journeys that they had to take. Obviously, couldn't fly, had to take transport, overland transport, and that's how they'll be getting back as well after this match. As the ball is played out from the back, then back to goalkeeper Trubin, who clears it here at the halfway line. John Stones gets up, wins the header against Mudryk, and it's out of play. We've played over half an hour, very few chances, despite all of the English possession. Kane with a header at the back post, that stretch miss, kick and a miss from Kane. There was the penalty shout, looking forward to seeing that again at half-time. VAR will have looked at that, decided there was no case to answer. And now Matvienko walking the ball out from the back for Ukraine, currently ranked 26th in the world. Balls slip through the legs of Stones. Now here's Mudryk away into the penalty area on the left-hand side, angles it across. It hit an England defender, Maguire, bounced back to Mudryk. And the offside flag actually is up, and England have a free kick. Still 0-0.
Yeah, I think that's the danger. I think when Kyle Walker goes with the squeeze behind his forwards, it leaves Mudryk free. Mudryk against Stones on that occasion leaves him for dead with pace, and then he's in. There he goes. Yeah, it's a clear offside. I think they get that absolutely right. It's the ball before Mudryk.
Yes, he was just off nearer the halfway line. But again, the late flag that we're used to. Pickford just delays the clearance, delays it, and then passes it in front of Yaremchuk, and then it's played inside by Stones, but Declan Rice was there. Maguire now on the edge of the penalty area. Maguire, who scored last time the sides met in the quarter-final at the Euros a couple of years ago. That was the match, if you remember, that England did not play here at Wembley. That was the 4-0 win in Rome. Pickford, long from him towards Saka, who is beaten in the air by Mykolenko, and it's out of play for a throw-in on the halfway line. So it's 0-0 here. Northern Ireland playing tonight against Finland in their first home match of the campaign. And now you can hear the Ukraine fans. That is the noise that you're hearing inside the ground. All together, they're singing their songs and bouncing up and down in that section. It's quite a sight. Saka with it on the right-hand side. Henderson swings it in. Kane with Maddison with a header, but it is straight at the goalkeeper, Trubin, who gathered it into his chest from, 8 yards out?
I'm not sure what the referee's blown for there. I've not seen a flag, or it was a push, I think, by Maddison.
Push by Maddison.
Yeah, I think the ball was dropped back. The ball was just nudged back to Henderson. Henderson doesn't even look. We see him do it with Liverpool. He just swings it in there. Unfortunately, I think Maddison pushed over Svatok on the far post there. Yeah,
so a free kick. So if Maddison had been able to head it in, it wouldn't have counted. Just over 10 minutes to go to half-time. And Trubin takes this one long, this free kick from just in front of his 6-yard area. It is challenged for by Rice, but falls for Ukraine. Malinovsky, the number 8. But it bounces away, and England have possession back with the central defenders. Jordan Henderson to his right. If you've just switched onto us, by the way, England making 3 changes. So a first start, a second cap for James Maddison. And part of the reason for that is, obviously, Jack Grealish played from the start on Thursday night, had that opportunity to make it 3-0. Phil Foden has had an appendix operation today. That was the news that was announced round about lunchtime. So Phil Foden out for this match, but obviously out for an important period of time for Manchester City as well. So that's a concern for them. So as a result, James Maddison's in the team, Chilwell as well, Henderson coming in, and Grealish and Phillips on the substitutes bench. Here's Maddison, but he's passed it straight to Malinovsky, shouts for handball. Referee doesn't see it that way, but Henderson now latches onto a loose ball, gives it to Maddison, and Maddison running away with it for England from the halfway line. Still going Maddison, feeds Saka in the area on the right, left-footed shot from him, bounces to Maddison, that's blocked, then Henderson, that's blocked as well. Bellingham heads it forward, and then it's headed away across the area by Svatok, and Ukraine are able to clear.
That's better from England, more pace. I mean, they're playing too slow out from the back, England, far too slow. Ukraine can get up the pitch, they can get closer on the squeeze. It makes it harder to play through the thirds. Get through the thirds quicker, 1 and 2 touch, then we start to create chances.
Liechtenstein 0, Iceland 2, that's in the Portugal group. The other matches in that group being played tonight. And Malta, Italy is tonight as well in this group, in England's group. And more commentary coming up on Tuesday night from the European qualifiers on 5 Live. Scotland against Spain is on 5 Live. Wales, Latvia is on Sports Extra on Tuesday evening. Saka now for England on the right-hand side. Latter period of the first half. Saka, left-footed ball curling into the back post. And it's in! Kane is there arriving beyond the defenders. He's at it again! Harry Kane, the England captain, record breaker, stepping on now and putting England 1-0 up. Their first goal at Wembley in this qualifying campaign. Harry Kane scores it and goes from 54 to 55. England 1, Ukraine 0.
Brilliant work from Saka down the right-hand side, just enticing the Ukraine defence on the left-hand side to double up on him. Mykolenko and Zinchenko just doubling up on Saka, leaving a spare man in the box. Harry Kane just finds his way into the far post, and Saka just gets onto his left foot where he normally likes to shoot, but he just leaves into an area at the far post. Harry Kane's out of the vision of the defenders. He can see the numbers of Matvienko and Svatok at the far post. Brilliant. Harry Kane, great position, great finish, great striker.
37th minute, England make the breakthrough, and Kane arriving at the back post. Saka just dropped it in there, really curled it into the back post, and the right back Karavayev was really badly caught out by Harry Kane. I mean, Kane's arriving behind you, he missed it, and Kane scored it.
Yeah, that's what he does. He just, I don't know how he does it, Harry Kane. He's the best in the world at it, finding that little bit of space, sniffing out a chance, goes out the vision of the defenders, and then they're panicking, where's Harry Kane? And he just pops up. Brilliant finish again, left foot. I think it might have been a couple of touches in there, might have been touched onto Harry Kane, and we'd see it again.
So there we are, the records keep coming for Harry Kane as Pickford just allows the ball to bounce out over the dead ball line for a goal kick. England leading Ukraine by 1-0. That is now his 22nd goal out of the 55 that he's now scored. That's the 22nd here at Wembley in 31 England appearances in the stadium here. And so he's now level with Gary Lineker on 22 goals for England here at Wembley. And he has won behind Bobby Charlton's record in that regard. So 23 goals is the England record for scoring here at Wembley. And who's to say that before too very much longer he won't have got that one as well, as Mykolenko has to stretch and puts the ball out of play for a throw into England, just about level with the edge of the penalty area. Yeah,
just what England need to do now is keep the pace of the passing up, get the ball to Saka, get the ball out wide to Chilwell as well, spread that back four of Ukraine, more gaps will appear.
And it is Kane in possession just near the right corner of the penalty area. He must be so full of confidence after the euphoric scenes in Naples the other night post-match. Saka, that's a nice turn. Oh, good finish! Saka, left-footed from the edge of the box, curls it into the top corner, beyond the dive of Trubin in the Ukraine goal. And Saka doubles England's lead. They've taken control, and they're looking at 6 points out of 6 in this qualifying group. 2-0 before half-time against Ukraine.
Oh my word, what a finish from Saka. Harry Kane finds he's in Saka's area. Saka just drifts into the edge of the box corner of the D, just switches positions with Harry Kane. He rolls it into Saka. Lovely drop of the shoulder, left drop of the shoulder, takes it with his right. 2 touches, and he just sets himself on his left foot, and he just curls it into the top corner, sets it out way past the far post. Bit of dip, bit of bend. What a finish! What a finish!
Well, he's not had things all his own way, Bukayo Saka, in this match, up until the point that he set up the first goal for Kane and then scored the second himself.
Just patient, being very, very patient. He's had no joy out here at all. Whips one in for Harry Kane, whips one in the top corner. Thank you very much. You did right picking me again, Gaffer. Thank you.
Arsenal's joint top scorer this season Scored 3 goals for England at his first World Cup. He scored 8 goals for Arsenal since the World Cup. Now he's got another one for England, so that is 8. That's a decent total. 8 for Bukayo Saka out of... This is his 26th cap. That's a good return, isn't it, so far?
It is, yeah, and he's been reliable, isn't he? He's been great on that right-hand side, and the more you give the ball to him, the better he becomes.
Yeah. So England 2, Ukraine 0, and whatever fears have been settled, and now Kane receives it again and shoots goals, and very nearly underneath goalkeeper Trubin, who in the end, with his legs splayed, I thought it was going to slide underneath him, but in fact, I think in the end he sat on it and saved it.
I think he did, Harry Kane. Little snapshot there, Harry Kane on the angle, and Trubin did enough. It was his arms, it was his legs, it was everything to stop it going to the back of the net.
Yeah, the Trubin show. Here's Maguire, heads the ball forward from the halfway line, but that's a foul committed by Bellingham, and Ukraine have got a free kick on the halfway line. So England 2, Ukraine 0. Kane and Saka, the goal scorers. Not a penalty this time for Harry Kane, although he felt he should have had one early on in the match, as Ukraine have the ball on the halfway line. And back it goes into central defence. And as Gareth Southgate said when I was talking to him yesterday, you know, everyone is thinking so much of Ukraine, the country, all of the people there. The way he phrased it was Monday to Friday, but when it comes to a football match, England have to win it. As the ball bounces away to Maddison, who's stretching and playing the ball back to the edge of the penalty area. Chilwell takes it down, stretch from him. Saka trying to get onto it. Here now is Mudryk in the central area, shoots from distance, but dragged it well wide by 7 or 8 yards of the left post as he looked at it. So it is a goal kick with England leading by 2-0. Just out of interest, we had an email into 5 Live the other day from none other than David Blunkett, Lord Blunkett, who was asking how many penalties Harry Kane has got compared to the other top England goal scorers over the years. And the answer is, as we know with Kane, as we mentioned the other night, 18. That's 18 penalties that he's scored and failed to score from 4 others. But he's got twice as many penalties as the next leading penalty scorer for England, Frank Lampard, who's scored 9. The ball comes back to Maddison now, forward of the centre circle, turning, and then just clipping it out to the left-hand side. England are looking for more. Chilwell curls it in, but that's over Kane, but will bounce all the way to Saka on the right-hand side. Saka now on the angle, little ball. Henderson tries to pull it across. That was blocked by a sliding defender, and it's out of play for a throw-in to England down the right. A couple of minutes to go to half-time, and then added time as well. Walker just trotting forward to take this throw. No Reece James today, had to withdraw from the squad yesterday with what was described as an ongoing issue, bit of a leg problem, I believe it was. Comes back to Maguire, knocks it along the halfway line to Declan Rice, who's back there, just to the left of Harry Maguire, and then Bellingham plays it back to John Stones, 10 yards inside his own half. And of the other leading scorers for England, Dion, in terms of penalties, as it goes all the way back to Pickford, who takes a touch, and then left-footed clears it out here towards the halfway line where it bounces out of play for a throw. So Kane now with 55, 18 penalties. Wayne Rooney just 7 penalties in his 53. Bobby Charlton just 3 penalties in his 49. Gary Lineker just 4 penalties in his 48. And Jimmy Greaves, his 44, not a single penalty in his total. So I hope that has gone some way to answer David Blunkett's question. Throw into Ukraine, halfway inside their own half. 5 Live, favourite station of the House of Lords. As it bounces back to Zinchenko, who chips it out to the right-hand side. And then it's taken down by Stepanenko, who's over the halfway line and just turns it to his right. And Ukraine, who now have got, well, such a task against them here in what is their opening qualifier in this group. Didn't play on Thursday in a competitive match. 3 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. It's played forward towards Mudryk. Mudryk being chased away by Kyle Walker. Is able to give the ball to Yaremchuk on the edge of the area, but it bounces away and England take control again. Bellingham then wins a throw-in on the far side. So throw-in to England, 10 yards inside their own half. In added time at the end of the first period, Dion. Dublin.
Yeah, I just feel that England have taken charge now. More Rice, more Bellingham on the ball. Henderson just taking charge of the pace of the game now with 2 up. Kyle Walker's just staying in that right back spot and just marshalling Mudryk. It's the midfield area that's the key one, and we've taken control of it. That's why we're 2 up.
England starting off down the left-hand side again, but that's played forward by Chilwell and will be returned to goalkeeper Trubin. For Kane as well, that's now another little run that he's on, scoring in 4 consecutive matches against Senegal and France in the last 2 games of the World Cup. Obviously the penalty miss against Lloris in that match, but now the penalty on Thursday in this one here, scoring in 4 consecutive games. Very like his career with Tottenham. Once he gets into a groove of goal scoring, he very often sets off on that kind of run. Here's Maguire with the ball inside his own half. High pass towards Saka, who was on his heels, and that was cut out by Mikalenko. And now Mudryk is racing infield. Declan Rice retreating, but who is in there with the challenge back? Harry Kane putting in the challenge, and then there's a foul centre field and a free kick to England. Once again, Jude Bellingham, who's received some treatment during the course of this first half. I think they're aware, having watched England the other night, what a threat he can potentially be. Free kick England. Yeah,
it's great work though. Just watching the free kick there, Bellingham getting brought down, but Harry Kane just seeing the danger. Mudryk just setting off at pace, and Harry Kane just stayed on his right shoulder, and just as he went on his right shoulder, Harry Kane was there. Just great work without the ball, great work with the ball, just leading by example.
I witnessed a lovely scene actually after the match in Naples when I was going down to do the interviews. As I was getting close to the pitch side, who's coming the other way but Harry Kane, with some of the England staff accompanying him. And he was actually after his brother. His brother was just up in the stands, and the 2 of them came down, you know, just after the match in which he's become England's record scorer. Him and his brother having a lovely embrace together and a few words. You can't buy moments like that, can you? And his family, it was lovely here as well, the presentation of the Golden Boot before the match to Harry Kane. His children came out with him, with Daddy, number 9, on the back of their shirts, and stood holding his hands while he was given the Golden Boot, and indeed for the anthems before the match. So Kane on the score sheet again, and Bukayo Saka. England leading Ukraine by 2-0. We're in the last minute of added time at the end of the first half, and Kyle Walker with a throw-in just up this right-hand side for England, up towards Kane, stretching for it, bounces down. Mudryk, then Bellingham's in with the challenge. Kane comes out with the ball. Kane trying to find a way past Mikalenko, but that's it. There's the half-time whistle. And England with those 2 goals in the space of 3 minutes late in the first half. After all of the domination and the possession, those two goals have put England in, well, complete charge, Dion Dublin.
Yeah, I just think it's been patient from England. They've just started to move the ball a little bit quicker. Harry Kane's got himself into some good positions. Saka down the right-hand side, he's just putting the ball into dangerous areas as well. He's got himself a goal. It's the midfield area, I've said it many times. Rice is on the ball more, Henderson's on the ball more, and Bellingham. They're the key players for us. Get the ball to Harry Kane and he will score.
So England are halfway to following up their excellent result in Naples on Thursday night with a win in their first home qualifier of this campaign. Kane and Saka, England 2, Ukraine 0.
Thank you, John. John, just stay there because I want to mention something that you've just been talking about 5 minutes or so ago in the commentary. Dion, first of all, when you look at the balance of this England team, Bukayo Saka really wide on the right-hand side, and that's allowing those little pockets for Maddison to come a little bit narrower and do the kind of work that we see him do for Leicester. And when he has got a bit more central, he's looked really dangerous.
Yeah, and that's because of Saka. You're absolutely right there, Flex. Saka can go wide on the right, and Chilwell's going wide on the left. That means that the back four have to spread loads and loads of gaps, more space for them to defend. And when Maddison's got that kind of space, he can turn and see the play. That's when he'll find those little pogs, those little through balls as well. Give him the ball as much as possible. That's what he wants, Maddison, in those areas. He'll create.
Stephen, the Saka goal is sublime, isn't it?
Not bad at all. He's just a man who's full of confidence. After the assist for Harry Kane, you can just see that quality that he possesses. Whenever he gets in that position, we've seen it so often for Arsenal, edge of the box, cutting in on that left-hand side and then unleashes it into the top right left-hand corner, and it's an unstoppable strike from Saka. But as Dion says, you just continue to get him on the ball, isolate him in a 1v1. Kyle Walker's positioning has been immense throughout the game because he knows Mudryk is clever, he knows he wants to cheat a little bit, so he wants to stay on his shoulder. Jordan Henderson's also been very, very clever the way he's playing because he's making inside runs, and Mikalenko doesn't know what to do because if he goes out wide and leaves Saka, then Henderson can run forward and go off his shoulder, and that is allowing then Bukayo Saka to get in 1v1 situations with Mykolenko probably 2-3 yards off him. The worst possible thing you can do with a winger of that quality.
And you know what, Steve, as well, because Mudryk's not getting his own way, he's now trying to find other positions on the pitch to try and get on the ball, which leaves Kyle Walker free on the right-hand side.
Yeah, I think the other thing, Dion, though, is I think what Mudryk's done well is that he's realised, I think a lot of his game is based on pace, and he's realised I can't do that, so what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to try and play on someone else, and that has left Kyle Walker with a lot of space.
John, you were talking about the penalties and the number of penalties that each individual had scored for England.
Yes.
Told a story on Friday night about Jimmy Greaves, the late great Jimmy Greaves, who said that he became the England penalty taker in 1959 and held that position until 1967. And during the 8 years he was England's penalty taker, they were never awarded one.
That's
so you imagine how many goals that Jimmy would have had with a bit of help from the referees back then.
Yes, if he'd had 18 penalties, it would have been a different match. And even so, he's still got the best goal scoring rate of any of them, 1.3 appearances per goal, as opposed to Harry Kane's 1.5, which would still be the same, won't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's astonishing, isn't it? Wonderful goal scorers in England white, and Harry Kane's got himself another one today. John, Dion, Ian, thank you very much. Second half to come, and I think what we'd say, Stephen, based on seeing the first half, is it looks highly unlikely that England aren't going to add to the tally. When the first goal went in, it seemed to soften Ukraine up, and then the Saka goal, it's been pretty much one-way traffic since then.
Yeah, I think what you could see was there was probably a little bit of fatigue, and what you often find when you've played a difficult away game, there's been a little bit of travelling involved, that it takes you 10-15 minutes to find your legs again, to find that pace to get going. I think the passing was slow. I think the two centre-backs were holding on to the ball too long, but then they started to inject a little bit of pace into it. But when you've got players like Harry Kane and Saka and Maddison, and you know you've got that quality higher up the pitch, you can almost rely on them to produce a moment of magic, because they do it so often. I thought Maddison's been immense. I really do. You think about Leicester at their worst and most vulnerable when he doesn't play, is because what he's so good at is taking the ball under pressure, drawing in fouls. It's manipulating little areas to play forward passes, and now we're starting to see him do that. And I said before the game, I think he's capable of doing it at the highest level. I don't think Ukraine are at the highest level, but international football is, and that's a huge pressure on the weight of James Maddison.
You're listening to 5 Live. England 2 up at half-time. Harry Kane with another goal. Bukayo Saka, who's having a magnificent season for Arsenal, continuing his rich vein of form at international level as well, with a special second goal, a curling shot from the edge of the penalty area after he rolled the defender, and England 2-0 up at half-time. Let's get the BBC News on 5 Live. Carl Hartley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Darren. The government is to make possession of laughing gas a criminal offence. It's part of plans for a wider crackdown on antisocial behaviour, targeting public drug use, fly tipping and low-level crimes such as graffiti. Kim McGuinness is the Labour Police and Crime Commissioner for Northumbria.
Antisocial behaviour is a huge issue for us, but I do have concerns about this being sticking plaster politics from the Conservatives, who have imposed 13 years of austerity, broken down public services. We've got higher rates of poverty than ever before, and then now we're surprised when antisocial behaviour is an issue. We need to be looking at the causes of this and preventing them.
Major changes to the way Welsh rugby is run have been overwhelmingly voted through by clubs. It follows claims of sexism and misogyny within the Welsh Rugby Union. Changes will see more independent members on the board, including one who will support the development of the women's game. Nearly 3,000 children in England and Wales were strip-searched by police under stop-and-search powers between 2018 and the middle of last year. Some were as young as 8, and black boys accounted for more than a third of the cases. The report has been published by the Children's Commissioner for England, Dame Rachel D'Souza.
Most took place in police stations or at the children's home, but there were some places that are really not acceptable for strip search. I have seen data showing strip searches in a fast food outlet, in an amusement park, in a number of schools and police vehicles. Totally unacceptable.
Police chiefs say they'll consider the findings carefully. The EU has joined calls urging Belarus not to host Russian nuclear weapons, saying member states would respond with more sanctions if it went ahead. President Putin says the decision is no different to the US basing nuclear weapons in other European countries. Creed 3 actor Jonathan Majors has been arrested in New York on strangulation, assault and harassment charges. The city's police department say he was involved in a domestic dispute with a 30-year-old woman. His lawyer says the 33-year-old denies any wrongdoing. And Cambridge have completed the double over rival university Oxford in this year's Thames Boat Race, with victories in the men's and women's events.
BBC 5 Live, the voice of the UK.
If the cost of renting is rising fast,
if many renters are finding it difficult to make their payments,
if a growing number of landlords are quitting the sector,
what is the state of rental health in the UK?
Radio 4 and 5 Live take an in-depth look at a rental market under pressure.
Hearing stories from those directly affected,
alongside analysis of how it impacts us all.
And exploring solutions that could ease the strain. Rental health
on BBC Radio 4
and 5 Live.
This is 5 Live Sport with Darren Fletcher.
Half-time at Wembley, England 2, Ukraine 0. Harry Kane with another goal. Bukayo Saka scoring England's second half. Commentary to come in a few minutes' time. Meanwhile, Rory McIlroy and world number 1 Scotty Scheffler are both up in their semi-finals of the Match Play World Championship. Ian Carter.
Two very tight matches at the moment, but McIlroy with a chance in a moment to go 2 up after 13 holes. He just made a pig's ear of the 12th. That allowed Cameron Young to hit back, coming from 2 down to just 1 down. But McIlroy's been very impressive once again today. 5 birdies already. He's surveying a birdie putt on the 13th, which is, as I say, if that goes in from 4 or 5 feet, that will take him 2 up. In the top match, it's Scotty Scheffler, the top seed, against Sam Burns. Scheffler coming from 3 down early on to lead 1 up with 4 to play.
Thanks, Ian. Earlier today, Manchester City defeated Chelsea 2-0 to move joint top of the WSL. Level on points with Manchester United. Chloe Kelly was in the City team and has been speaking with Joe Curry.
Before the game, Gareth said it was a must-win match. You didn't just win, you did it in some style. How much did you enjoy that one?
Yeah, it was brilliant. Here at our stadium, I think we're absolutely unbelievable. We had to trust the process, trust the game plan, and we've got Yui's unbelievable for us.
I know this game was all about the 3 points and staying in the title fight, but there's always such good clashes between Manchester City and Chelsea. Is this win that little bit more sweeter because it is against the defending champions?
Yeah, definitely. They're a great team and we knew we had to be at our very best to break them down today. And we did just that. I think they're an incredible threat on the counter as well, and we stopped that at source. And I think altogether the girls, we put in some shift today and a big 3 points, and we go again next week.
It's a remarkable run that you're now on, particularly after that tricky start to the season. Does this squad have what it takes to now go on and win that title?
Of course it does. I think we have to take it game by game, but I think we're playing great football. We're in great form at the minute, and we have to keep trusting the process, keep our foot on the gas and keep putting a shift in every week. And yeah, you got to do that every week.
There were 2 other results in the WSL. Aston Villa 5, Leicester City 0 and Reading 2, Brighton 2. You can catch up with all the weekend's action on the Women's Football Show on the red button from 10 p.m. In League One, Jordan Garrick fired Forest Green to a shock 1-0 win over promotion hopefuls Sheffield Wednesday at the New Lawn. Forest Green manager Duncan Ferguson spoke with Sheridan Robbins after the win.
It means a lot to me because I know how hard I've been working myself and my staff, but I'm more delighted for the players, to be honest. Yeah, no, it's great for me. It's nice to get that off your back that you've got a victory, because people are looking at for your result, aren't they? So, but I was really delighted for the players because I knew that they've been working so hard in the last half a dozen games and they deserved more than what they got. I think today we deserve what we got, so that's the main thing, and the players deserve it.
You'll see the scoreline of 1-0, but actually you had chances that you could have put away and won it more comfortably.
Well, certainly we should go 2-0 up early in the second half. Kyle gets a great chance. We had a good chance in the first half with Charlie Savage, so we've had clear-cut chances. So we could have been 2 or 3 up. They never really threatened us so much. Of course, they've got the physicality, they've got a big team, they started putting the ball in our box, but our centre-backs held up fantastically well.
Duncan Ferguson celebrating his first win as the Forest Green Rovers manager. 2 other Euro 2024 qualifiers taking place. Liechtenstein 0, Iceland 2, and scoreless between Slovenia and San Marino. In the Gallagher Premiership, it finished Bath 36 Exeter 19. Elsewhere, France beat Italy 22-12 in the opening round of the Women's Six Nations. After their 3-0 win over Cyprus, Scotland have called up Lawrence Shanklin for Tuesday's Euro 2024 qualifier with Spain. That's after fellow strikers Shay Adams and right-back Anthony Ralston pulled out of the squad. Northern Ireland play Finland later today, and you can listen to live commentary on BBC Sounds, the BBC website, and Radio Ulster from 7:30. And 6:06 follows the conclusion of the match tonight. Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton will be in for that one. Chris is with us. What's on the agenda, Chris, other than England?
Well, we've got plenty on the agenda. We had a really good debate last night. I don't know whether you listened to it, on grassroots refereeing, Darren, and the abuse that grassroots referees get every weekend. You know, physical abuse and verbal abuse. What needs to be done to make things better for referees? There's a big decline in grassroots refereeing, and no referees, there'll be no football. So we want calls on that again this evening. Really impressed with England in the first half. They've had great control, haven't they? And going ahead, Harry Kane getting his 55th goal now. Possibly England's greatest ever striker. Saka's been brilliant, hasn't he? But one calls on this. Gareth Southgate, there's always people out there, Darren, who are willing to give Gareth Southgate a bit of a kicking. But he's done a brilliant job, hasn't he, as England manager?
Well, he has. But I think it's one of those, Chris, until England wins something, the criticism will always be there. I'm a little bit surprised.
Is it justified, though?
Well, I think in some cases, yes. I think when you think back to the World Cup and the way the game panned out against the French, and maybe people who didn't feature and might have done, I think you can criticise.
Had Harry Kane stuck that penalty in, things would have been different.
Yeah, but he didn't. I'm also surprised you used the word possibly, because you don't use the word possibly very often. You normally go one way or the other. And you said Harry Kane is possibly England's greatest ever striker.
Trying to weigh that one up. I mean, is he England's greatest ever number 9?
I said no on Friday, Chris. I said Jimmy Greaves would be for me. 44 in 57 and no penalties. Member of the 66 World Cup squad. I went Jimmy Greaves.
There we go. That's one we'll put.
You said and you said possibly.
Possibly. I'm going to have a think about that one, and I'll let everybody know in an hour's time. But Harry Kane's been brilliant, hasn't he? Saka's been wonderful. James Maddison. So James Maddison. I think there's been a lot of people crying out there for James Maddison to get England starts earlier than he has done. But I think he's been brilliant in the first half. Interesting. I mean, is he the future? Narrow off that left-hand side for Gareth.
It'll be a good one. Chris Sutton, Aaron Paul, 6:06. Lines are open, 08085 909 693. The players are out for the second half. Let's hand you back to your commentary team. John Murray is there, Dion Dublin is there. And to kick the second half off, Ian Dennis.
Thanks, Darren. Neither side has made a change at half-time. A reminder of the two teams. Pickford in goal, Walker, Stones, Maguire and Chilwell. The midfield of Rice, Henderson and Bellingham, Saka, Kane and Maddison, the front three. England's second half, white shirts, navy shorts. Now as the sun is appearing here at Wembley, we'll be playing from right to left as we look. Against the Ukraine side, all in yellow, who have Trubin in goal, a back four of Karavayev, Svatok, Matvienko and Mikolenko, Sudakov, Stepanenko and Zinchenko in the midfield, with Malinovsky, Mudryk and Yaramchuk. And England leading by 2-0. Harry Kane's 50th goal under Gareth Southgate, with the first, and then a real stunner from Saka to make it 2-0 just 3 minutes later, 5 minutes before half-time. And England are now looking for what potentially could have been a really tricky start to this group, in an ideal position in Group C, leading by 2-0. And Gareth Southgate was saying yesterday to John, when he spoke to him at Tottenham's training ground, that that win for Naples counts for nothing if they didn't follow it up, and they are doing exactly that. But Ukraine forward now. Malinovsky looking to try and get a shot away left-footed, but he was quickly closed down by Rice. Gets the return ball back, plays it short to Karavayev, who digs it out from the right corner of the area. Stepanenko, Mudryk, and then again England break up that passage of play with Maguire up towards Harry Kane. Bellingham. Oh, Bellingham's done superbly in the midfield. What great feet from Bellingham. Out towards Saka. What a talent Bellingham is, outrageous. And he wanted the return ball from Saka. That was brilliant, mesmerising.
Just great to watch him, you know, yellow shirts all around him, foot to foot, left foot to right foot, gets out of trouble and just rolls it into Saka's feet. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant, he's got everything.
And he's still only 19, as a number of the supporters are still making their way back to the seats. At the minute there are a lot of empty red seats around Wembley. England playing from right to left. Harry Kane was trying to get on the end of it. Henderson was having a little sniff there, and in the end it was stabbed behind by Svatok for a corner kick, where there is that shaft of sunlight that is bathing some of the supporters in the bottom tier away towards our left-hand side. And James Maddison gets a nice ovation as he makes his way over on his first start for England to take the corner kick. Threatened to take a quick short one. That was just a dummy there from the Leicester City player. He now takes several steps back. It'll be an out-swinging corner from that far side, the right. The left arm aloft, stuttering run-up. Outswinger indeed it is, headed up by Maguire. And then it's going to run off the head of Zinchenko, the Ukrainian captain, for another England corner kick. And cries of Jude as Bellingham, who's proving to be ever so popular.
I think we're very lucky to have Bellingham and Rice and the youth. Chilwell on this one now, outswinger again from the left-hand side.
Chilwell then to take the corner kick. It is an outswinger off his left foot. Maguire was looking to meet it, comes out to Henderson, plays it towards Saka, darts towards the right side of the penalty area. Didn't quite break for Harry Kane. Zinchenko helped out by Mykolenko, who puts the ball out of play for an England throw. Early in the second half here on BBC Radio 5 Live. We're available on the BBC Sounds app and also live on the World Service here at Wembley Stadium in front of a sellout crowd, where England are going to make it surely 2 wins out of 2 to open up their campaign in Group C for this Euro 2024 qualifying campaign. Rice finds Chilwell just over the halfway line on the near side, the left. Malinowski forces England back. Rice comes under pressure from Sudakov, goes all the way back to Jordan Pickford. Pickford bides his time and then hits it downfield left-footed up towards Harry Kane, beaten in the air by Matvienko, laid off though by Henderson. Maddison turns well and finds Bellingham. Chilwell powering on the overlap if Bellingham wants it. Bellingham looking for the outside of the right boot to try and carve the ball into the penalty area, and in the end there was no curve at all off that pass, and it went straight through towards the Ukrainian keeper.
Yeah, just trying to do the right thing, Bellingham, just trying to leave it into that area there for Kane and Saka on the far post. Didn't quite catch it.
Sloppy by Karabayev. Back to Svatok, and the debutant, the Dnipro club captain, unable to keep the ball in play, and Ukraine have conceded a corner kick. When England have scored the opening goal in the games, they have a very good record. You have to go all the way back to Czech Republic in Prague in 2019 for when they'd scored first in the game and then ended up losing it. Since then, unbeaten in 28 matches, England, after scoring the opening goal in a fixture, and they now lead, of course, by 2-0 here at Wembley. Chilwell with a corner, left-hand side. It's another outswinger, headed away by Matvienko. Picked back up by Henderson, finds Saka. Bellingham wanted the ball played right side of the penalty area from Saka, who cuts it back. Oh, that was excellent by Maddison. What a sharp turn. Maddison then went for the effort on goal, but it was a rising drive off his right boot. It was off target. It's a goal kick, and it remains England 2, Ukraine 0.
Yeah, he actually tries to dip that shot. He may have, I don't know, I can't believe I'm saying this about the Wembley turf. It may have taken a bobble, I'm not quite sure, but he's got Bellingham on his right-hand side. Maybe should have just fed Bellingham in, but he didn't. He chose to shoot. Might have got an earful off Bellingham, I think, as well, for that reason.
Non-playing member, of course, at the World Cup in Qatar, but there's always been a real clamour for Maddison to be involved in the England setup. And you think of the luxury, and it is a luxury now that Gareth Southgate is going to have at his disposal in that attacking area. When you think that Foden, Grealish, Maddison, Saka, Kane, yet to see, of course, Tony on the international stage just as yet, but he's obviously done very, very well in the Premier League. He has a number of options. It will be the envy of many a European coach.
There's so much there, so much talent. Just finding the balance, finding those partnerships that work as well. I mean, Saka and the Kane partnership at the moment is just working amazingly. And Maddison's finding his feet as well and enjoying himself at the moment, Maddison.
Here is Zinchenko, just outside the centre circle in the England half. Out to Mykolenko, plays it back, but Ukraine are playing at such a steady pace that they're not really getting behind England at all. Malinovsky had made that run towards the right corner of the area, momentarily lost it, then wins it back, but Maddison, Bellingham and Chilwell are all there to break it up as Kane rolls away from the challenge of Svatok, and Sudakov then, referee's going to give a free kick to England. There'd been, I think, a challenge on Bellingham. Free kick to England, but England are just looking so strong.
They are, I just hope they don't. They just sat in there for a minute or so, allowed Ukraine to have the ball, but patient and just waiting for their time to nick the ball. I think there was a little pass on. There was a block on Jude Bellingham. He went to play 1-2 with Harry Kane. He gets blocked, and the referee tries to play an advantage. But we need to keep playing at a fast pace. I believe if we get another goal, we might see Tony, you know.
Yeah.
I think if we get another goal, we might see Tony. Without reply?
I'm right in saying that Gareth Southgate went to see him recently. It was the Arsenal-Brentford game, and he was unplayable that day. He caused Arsenal's defence all sorts of problems. So we'll wait to see if he does get a run out. Of course, he would be the first Brentford player to play for England since Les Smith back in 1939. Here is Stepanenko. Iceland are leading Liechtenstein 3-0 elsewhere in the Euro qualifiers. Earlier, Forest Green 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. What relief that must be for Duncan Ferguson to get his first win for Forest Green, and to end Sheffield Wednesday's 22-match unbeaten run in League One. As Karavayev forward on this near side the right, there's been a number of times where under Duncan Ferguson Forest Green have taken the lead and then not been able to see it out. So that's a good old scalp of Sheffield Wednesday, who've been going so well under Darren Moore. That was in League One. Monday Night Club from 7 tomorrow with Mark Chapman. Tuesday night, Scotland, Spain from 7. And then on Wednesday and Thursday, we've got coverage of the Women's Champions League quarter-finals. Arsenal against Bayern on Wednesday, followed by Chelsea-Lyon on Thursday. And before we know it, we'll be back round to next weekend. And our commentary, Arsenal against Leeds United at 3 in the usual goal service. In fact, I'm told the Monday Night Club is with Gigi, as Lord Chapman must be taking a well-deserved break. 10 minutes into the second half, England lead by 2-0. Bellingham forward to Henderson, able to turn, finds Maddison in the central area. Challenge from Matvienko, comes to Bellingham. Maddison passes the ball out to Kane, who drifts out into this left-hand side. Chilwell again will go on the overlap. And that just means that Karavayev has got to stay out wide. Chilwell passes the ball inside to Maddison. Plays it forward now to Bellingham. Threads the ball towards Chilwell. Sliding back with Stepanenko. Cleared by Svatok, the central defender for Ukraine. As England, total charge now. Total control of this game. And Ukraine, you feel, is just almost damage limitation.
Yeah, it is at the moment. We have a lot of the ball, we're not really going anywhere with it. I'm seeing Harry Kane out wide, left and wide right too much at the moment. Start of this second half, I want him to stay down the middle. Let all of his other forward-thinking mates do all that running for him, get the ball into him, keep serving him, get the ball to Bellingham in the centre of the park, and Maddison as well.
A number of the youngsters, of course, promises a bright future, Bellingham and Saka. But also the one thing under Gareth Southgate is that he's blooded a number of players during his tenure, and they now have a lot of experience to draw on. 516 caps, actually the third most experienced side today that Gareth Southgate has named, and that's without maybe somebody like a Kieran Trippier as well. So they've got that togetherness, that mentality that a lot of them are talking about, that togetherness. This is an England side that is surely only going to get stronger and stronger, and as long as there's no complacency, you would think that qualification now with 6 points from their opening 2 games is a certainty.
Yeah, you'd hope so. You'd hope so. In response to the players you mentioned, I think we've got a good balance of seniors and kids.
This is Sudakov, who almost came through into the penalty area with a late run. England bring it away. Bellingham, did he give away a free kick there? No, it's Malinowski who comes forward. Malinowski looking to try and find Mudryk, just stepping forward at the right time with Stones, and releases Walker now on that far side, the right. Walker already is over the halfway line. 12 minutes into the second half. BBC Radio 5 Live, England lead 2-0. That was a situation read ever so well by Stones.
Yeah, Stones has just got better and better in an England shirt for me. He plays right side centre half. He's so comfortable on the ball. He'll find himself in the midfield. He doesn't look out of place at all. Picks the right pass.
Here is Chilwell now coming forward. An area of space for him to run into on this near side. Out to Maddison, just in from the touchline, level with the penalty area. Maddison finds Bellingham. Bellingham able to turn, opens it up and goes inside to Henderson. Goes further to his right for Walker. Back towards Saka. Saka with a cross. Bellingham 6-7 yards out. Just couldn't get the touch as he was side onto goal. Ukraine's partial clearance only goes as far as Rice. Chilwell, he goes inside to Maddison. Maddison runs down the left-hand side of the penalty area with a cross, cleared away by Matvienko, and Ukraine's defence coming under pressure, and that was a free kick for Henderson's foul on Sudakov. And Ukraine are going to make a triple change. So Ruslan Rotan, the interim manager, Sergei Rebrov, currently in negotiations to become their permanent coach, maybe for in time for the summer when they play North Macedonia and Malta as their next opponents. But Ruslan Rotan, 100 caps as a very effective midfielder during his playing days from 2003 to 2018, a 15-year international career, is going to make that triple change very, very soon. Down below, we're going to see Edouard Sobol coming on. Just trying to see who else is going to be coming on too, as England are on the attack. It breaks down inside the Ukraine penalty area. Sehankov and Buyelaski are the other 2 players who are going to be coming on. Buyelaski was the only player to have actually started in both halves when they played Brentford B in that warm-up game last week. We're just shy of the hour as a Mexican wave sweeps around this sellout crowd here at Wembley. England, though, have still got to keep their concentration, still only leading by 2-0. There's some nervy moments when Italy reduced the arrears in Naples, of course, last week, so they'll be hoping not to have a repeat of that, as Karavayev back with Sudakov. By and large, they're playing in front of England, Dion.
Yeah, England just getting back into it. A 4-5-1 at the moment.
Here is Mudryk looking for a sight of goal. Couldn't get that opportunity, and then Henderson goes down, and that will give a free kick for England and mean that now is the perfect time to make this triple change. No Yarmolenko, the former West Ham player, as we're going to see this triple change now. Buyelaski is the first player to come on. That's Karavayev who's gone off. Mudryk of Chelsea has come off. Had a couple of early duels, didn't he, with Kyle Walker? So Sehankov to replace him, and Stepanenko is going to be the other player to come off. So how are they going to jig things around now? They're looking a little bit perplexed, the Ukrainian players out there, or have they got the wrong number up on the digit? Matvienko. So Sobol, as a defender, will come on for Matvienko. And Mikolenko. No, it's Mikolenko who's come off. So Sobol comes on for Mykolenko. Buyalaski replaced Karavayev. Wasn't Stepanenko at all, was it? The fourth officials had a nightmare with his board. Mudryk. So Sihankov, who now plays for Girona out in Spain. And he's done well actually since his move in January. 3 goals and 3 assists in 7 appearances in La Liga. That was that triple change made by Ukraine. 62 minutes played. Still no change in the scoreline. Those goals in the first half putting England in a very handsome position here at Wembley. As a throw on that far side, the right for England, almost level with the penalty area. I'm sure this sellout crowd would love another goal. It's a scuffed clearance only as far as Rice. Bellingham opens it up to Chilwell. Chilwell back to Bellingham. Rice makes that little dart ahead of him, and Rice now out towards Harry Kane. Keeps drifting out towards this left-hand side. Takes Svatok with him. Chilwell's behind him. Back with Bellingham. Rice, a little touch there. Harry Maguire. He now goes to Stones on the halfway line. Both fullbacks are pushed quite high here by England in their white shirts and navy shorts, playing from right to left as Chilwell strokes it back. And now with Maguire's forward ball, Bellingham lays it off towards Rice. Rice then cuts the ball to Chilwell on the halfway line as Ukraine slowly but surely push out towards that midway point of their own half. But England look very, very comfortable here, Dion Dublin.
Yeah, I'd like another goal though, to be honest with you, Deno. It's okay having the ball. I think if we can get the next goal, I think we can relax a little bit more, or I'd relax a little bit more, should I say. Lots of possession, need to do more with it. In control of the game, but I'd like to see a little bit more pace in the passing.
Sihankov has come out to this right-hand side. Ukraine all in yellow, playing from left to right. Back with Zinchenko on the halfway line. Finds Sudakov. Sudakov collects this ball in the centre circle. Sobol was getting forward on that far side, the left. He finds Malinovsky. Now with Sobol. Passes the ball back to Sudakov. Sprays it out to this near side for Sihankov. That was a nice little first touch from Sihankov. He goes infield. Sudakov stabs it forward and early. Stones with a clearance. Malinovsky looking for the run of Sobol from his left back area and cleared away well over on that far side once again by John Stones. 2 quick goals, Slovenia 2, San Marino 0. That's in Northern Ireland's group. Northern Ireland play later on against Finland. Earlier the result was Kazakhstan 3, Denmark 2. So Northern Ireland will be looking to build on their opening victory against San Marino in Belfast against Finland tonight. England lead 2-0 as we've got a lot of the supporters now are showing their lights on their mobile phones, particularly on the top tier, wherever you look around this crowd here at Wembley Stadium. Sihankov rolls it into Yaramchuk with his back to goal, but he was just surrounded by a wall of white shirts as Harry Kane tries to roll away again from Svatok, who recovers and passes the ball all the way back to the goalkeeper, Trubin.
Yeah, this is good. It's a good defensive display of concentration and getting yourself in the right position. Gareth Southgate would have done this on the training ground. When you don't have the ball, get into these positions for me. Don't force it, don't go chasing on your own. And they're seeing it out, and then they're getting hold of the ball and trying to create.
Here is Maddison again. Maddison has done well. He's looking for that forward ball towards Saka. He's thinking he could have had maybe a little dig at goal himself there.
Yeah, the ball was kind of stuck in between his feet there, Maddison. He was looking for Saka at the outside of the right boot as he was heading towards the D with pace. Could have had a shot at goal, but he tried to set his mate up.
Iceland have rattled a fourth in Vaduz against Liechtenstein as Gareth Southgate is on course for what will be his 26th win at Wembley. That will take him level with Walter Winterbottom. Only Sir Alf Ramsey will have won more games as an England manager here at the National Stadium. 2-0 they lead. BBC Radio 5 Live, back with Pickford. Pickford plays it short forward to Maguire. Rice coming onto the ball, looking to try and get things going from midway through his own half. Floats the ball out towards Kyle Walker. Walker over the halfway line on that far side, the right. Saka back with Henderson. Maddison again, always making himself available in that central area. As England now with Stones just outside the centre circle, dictating the tempo, dictating the play. Maddison. I thought that was a foul. Yeah, it was a foul by Svatok. Just a little clumsy from behind.
Just getting a bit frustrated now. Maddison seems to be getting the ball and dictating the play in that area, just in front of Kane. Svatok not allowing him to turn and create. And he gets kicked down the back of the Achilles there. The referee got that one spot on.
It's been an impressive first start for him, hasn't it?
Yeah, he's a very good footballer. He's got a great footballing brain and he picks up nice positions. And today, Bellingham and Rice have found him with the ball at his feet so he can turn, pinged it into him so he can do what he needs to do.
That's Dion Dublin, a man who's used to taking the stairs, and now John Murray, who's sat next to them.
Oh dear.
The ball's gone behind for a goal kick for Ukraine that goalkeeper Trubin is going to take. Just gone to sleep a little bit, hasn't it, the last perhaps 10-15 minutes or so.
Yeah, pace of the game's just slowed down a little bit.
Zinchenko now playing as right back. Haven't seen him there too often, despite all of the various positions that he can play.
He's that good though, isn't he?
Yeah.
John, he's such a good footballer. He's the leader, he's their skipper, and he just does what he needs to do in order to try and get his team over the line. Very, very good player.
But England, they've got to keep their eyes on this, because as we discovered in Naples on Thursday night, if you give opponents a sniff at the very highest level, even though England are in complete control here, really, then, that one goal can change things. England with it. Just wondering whether you're thinking of changes Gareth Southgate might make. It's still the team that started the match, even though we're into the last quarter of it, as Walker was fouled on the right, but Saka has wriggled away into the penalty area, was brought down just outside the box. And it's a free kick to England after Malinovsky put in the challenge on Saka, who was away from him, and actually he's booked as well, Malinovsky, for that. But it's a free kick to England in the full-back position, right on the edge of the area.
Yeah, that's what he does so well, Saka. He allows his defender to get close. Malinovsky gets really close to him, and he knows what to do, Saka. He waits, and he just rolls his defender. Rolls him, takes him into the box, and he just brings him down, Malinovsky, just on the edge of the box, without giving a penalty away.
Saka fell into the area, but the offence was just outside the area. So free kick on the right. Maddison and Saka are over this. England have packed the Ukrainian penalty area. There are 5 players either in the 6-yard box or on the edge of that, and then Jordan Henderson near the penalty spot. And with Ukraine bringing everyone back into their own penalty area, all of the players, apart from Jordan Pickford to our right, are in the Ukrainian defensive third. So Chilwell and Walker, the full-backs, are standing just outside the edge of the box. But Saka and Maddison talking to one another. Saka's over the ball, but steps away now. This free kick on the right-hand side for England, who lead 2-0. And Saka, little steps from him, runs over it. Maddison plays it back to Saka. Left foot effort, but he's blazed that. He's blazed that way beyond the far post as he was looking at it, and actually puts his hands on his face and looks to the heavens as if to say, what on earth was that?
He does look to the heavens, but he's got that big smile on his face as well. He's enjoying his football. It was a good free kick, actually, just executed terribly by Saka.
Yeah, if you've just switched onto us on 5 Live or the World Service, BBC Sounds, England took charge with 2 goals in 3 minutes late in the first half. Very well-worked goals they were as well. Kane and Saka combining for the first. It was Kane's pass to Saka, and then Saka left-footed ball into the back post, and Kane got away from the right back and finished it with his left foot. And Saka scored the second himself. A little ball infield from Henderson from the right-hand side, and Saka turned Mitvienko and curled it left-footed. Lovely finish from just outside the box. So that was it, 2-0, and that's the way it's remained, with under 20 minutes to play. Iceland are now winning 5-0 away in Liechtenstein. in the early kick-off in that group. That's the Portugal group, Slovakia, Bosnia-Herzegovina in that. Aaron Gunnarsson scored a hat-trick for Iceland in that match, and Kane is adjudged to have fouled Svatok 10 yards inside his own half, just pushed him over and then ran away, but the referee wasn't having that, and a free kick to Ukraine inside their own half. 6:06 on 5 Live is on the way with Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton. If you're a Forest Green fan, after the victory today, the glorious victory against Sheffield Wednesday, you might want to give Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton a ring. Northern Ireland playing tonight, 7:45 kickoff, so they'll keep you updated on that. That's careless, given away by Tihankov, and Kane now shifted feet. Kane approaching the middle of the half, right-footed ball. That's asked a lot of Jude Bellingham, who's had to stretch for it. Takes it near the corner flag. Bellingham, still just the 1 goal for England, yet to score here at Wembley. The 19-year-old for England, now moving in field, and then square to Maddison. Maddison up to Saka on the edge of the box, tried to flick it into the area, hit the defender, bounced down. The crowd wanted a free kick for the challenge on Saka, but I think it was a clean challenge. And then England crowd Ukraine out on the halfway line. And Maguire actually is going to have a run forward. Gives it to Kane. The Harrys together. Now Kane to the left-hand side to Maddison. Maddison might open up. No, he gives it to Bellingham on the left. Bellingham pulls it across, and it's cleared away on the edge of the 6-yard box. Saka was looking for that in the middle, but Ukraine just about dealt with it. Dion Dublin.
Yeah, I was expecting Maddison, he's only about 10 yards out. I'm thinking he could take the shot on.
Oh, Walker dived in there, and Sobol is away. The substitute, the left back. Sobol's cross comes off Stones, which bounces into the air, and Pickford racing along the dead ball line, can't keep it in. It's a corner for Ukraine, who are going to make another change. The striker Artem Dovbyk is going to come on to take the place of Yaremchuk, who's barely been in the game. The big number 9, Yaremchuk. Good experience, but he's not been a factor today. So the Ukrainian-based Artem Dovbyk, who plays for Dnipro, he, like Yaremchuk, scored in the win against Scotland at Hampden in the World Cup playoff semi-final. So Dovbyk is on, and Ukraine have their first corner. So England have got to keep their wits about them here. 2-0 up. England lead, but as I say, just over 15 minutes to play. The Ukraine goal could make this feel very different, and they're being roared on by those over 4,000 Ukraine fans. Out-swinging corner, it's over everyone. Zinchenko actually allows it to bounce out of the penalty area, and then with his left foot gives it back towards the halfway line. And actually Ukraine have gone all the way from corner at one end. Sobol on the halfway line actually turns it all the way back to goalkeeper Trubin. So Ukraine in the all-yellow kit, lots of yellow and blue, the Ukrainian colours, the blue of the Ukrainian sky and the yellow of the grain, the great export, as was, of Ukraine. I mean, just imagine as well, you know, it's had so much publicity and coverage, this match, how people are following this game back in Ukraine and what's going on around them. I know they're big radio listeners in Ukraine, as the ball is played out to the right, but that's a poor touch from Zinchenko, and it bounces out of play for a throw into England halfway inside their own half. You can hardly imagine it, Dion, can you? You know what's going on there. Just 3 hours flight away.
Yeah,
I know. Sitting here.
I know it's, you know, the amount of fans that have come to see the game as well. They'll be so proud of their team. Yes, they're losing 2-0, but they always give everything. It's always blood, sweat and tears when these boys take the field, and at this present time they're just getting outclassed at the moment. England just seeing the game through. Good game management, Jordan Henderson, Harry Kane. You can see Declan Rice, he's pointing, and even Jude Bellingham, he's 19 years old, he's telling where his teammates need to be. Great organisation.
Well, 8 of this team, remember, started the match in Naples on Thursday night. That was a big effort. And Gareth Southgate's not made a change yet, and we've got 15 minutes left to go, and Saka is now being chased back into his own half. Henderson helps him out, so it's passed back to John Stones, one of the 4 players who've started every match for England this season, all 9 matches. Maguire, Bellingham and Rice and Kane. And here's Walker on the right-hand side. Walker giving the ball back to John Stones, who passes it across the edge of the 6-yard box. 15 minutes to go. Harry Maguire now just walks it forwards. And The big message was from Gareth Southgate this week that England must not give the ball away as much. Harry Maguire, who lost the ball when Italy scored their opening match, brings it forward. Bellingham, now with Chilwell on the left-hand side. Bellingham, then in field towards Maddison on his full debut for England, his first start for the senior international team. Now to the right-hand side. Walker and Saka together. Saka off and running. Walker still ahead of him. Saka just delays, then gives it to Walker, who passes it back to Jordan Henderson. And the Liverpool captain, then back to the West Ham captain, Declan Rice. And then all the way back to John Stones again, just near the centre circle. So Stones, forward again. Then Henderson. And Stones once again in possession. England just 15 minutes away now from making it 2 wins out of 2, 6 points out of 6 in these opening matches in the qualifiers for Germany next year. And remember, two teams qualify automatically from each group. Rice out to the right-hand side. So England will be a long way down that road. Dion with 2 wins out of 2.
It's just good composure, knowing full well that you've got the game won. Get these points in the bag. Let's start the campaign as we mean to go on.
England with the ball in central defence. Walker looks up, long and right-footed to the edge of the box. A little shove by Zinchenko, then it's headed away, then it's nodded back to goalkeeper Trubin by Svatok. Yep, if you're a supporter of any of the home nations, the prospect of going to Germany next summer, for those who can't remember it, the 2006 World Cup in Germany was a great experience, a great country to host a major football tournament. So start saving now. And all of the home nations have made encouraging starts to this qualifying campaign. And England perhaps making a change, or preparing to make a change down there. And is that Ivan Toney? As the ball's played forward for Ukraine, but it bounces all the way through, and Pickford will allow it to run. And it looks as though the Brentford striker is going to get his opportunity, as you and Ian were suggesting that he might do.
Yeah, I can just see he's got his shirt on, he's walking down the steps, he's getting high fives from all the staff, basically saying, go on, show us what you've got, you deserve it. And here he goes, he's getting some instructions. I'm excited for him.
Big moment, Dion. Remember the first time when you were about to come on for England? I mean, what a great moment in a player's career. And this is, it's taken him until 27 years old, Ivan Toney, and he's about to come on, and Ukraine with it on the edge of the box. I suspect he might have been on earlier, as you and Ian were saying, if England had been able to get a third goal. Bellingham knows onto this. Bellingham plays it forward, but it bounces away off Stepanenko, and Ukraine will bring it forward towards the halfway line. Yes, Ivan Toney has now made his way into the coaching area, so he'll be on next time the ball goes out of play. Rice turns, passes it forward towards Harry Kane. Kane just holding off the challenge from Zihankov, and then playing it back to Declan Rice. So what a great moment as well to be given this opportunity, because he's in prime form this season. 17 goals in all competitions, 16 of them in the Premier League. Only Kane and Haaland have scored more in the Premier League this season, as England go back to Pickford. And of course, there has been interest in him from Jamaica, I know, but here he is, still waiting to come on. He must just want that ball out of play.
Yeah, his heart will be racing now, absolutely racing, at Wembley. First appearance for your country.
As Harry Kane is fouled on the halfway line, and I think he'll get his moment now. Another challenge from Svatok on Harry Kane.
He's had another, seen the back of him now.
And that is it. That was the final little foul by Svatok on the England captain. Because Harry Kane, after returning to Wembley and England as the new record goal scorer and celebrating it with the opening goal today, his 55th for his country, he's going to be substituted with 10 minutes to go now. He hands the captain's armband to Jordan Henderson, and as Harry Kane leaves the field, on comes Ivan Toney of Brentford to win his first cap for England, and he gets a low five from Jude Bellingham as he runs on, the number 19 as he is, Brentford's first England international since 1939, and also only the third cap. He's the third Brentford player to play for England, and each of the previous two just won just the one cap. So 3 players, 3 caps And Ivan Toney now has 50, well, less than that, 10 minutes plus added time to show what he can do. And he'll have been dreaming about it, hoping that he might have got his chance. He was in the squad for the matches in September, didn't get onto the field.
3,947. Thank you for your fantastic support.
And in front of 83,947, he has a chance here to make a dream debut. And he's got issues at the moment off the field, the charges that he's facing for these alleged breaches of the betting rules. But he can figure out about that for these remaining minutes on the field as he gets up and gets his first touch and heads it on to Saka on the right-hand side. Toney then takes up a position in the middle. Saka's going to try and reach him. Low ball in, actually hits Maddison and deflects from Maddison through to goalkeeper Trubin. And it remains England 2, Ukraine 0.
Yes, I'm just wanting Saka just to stick that in the box there, anywhere near Ivan Toney. Good little bit of play there. Maddison just couldn't control it.
Trying to close down the goalkeeper, who passes it past the onrushing Toney. White socks disappearing down his calves, and then his exuberance. He's all over the back of Svatok and bundles him over for a free kick. Ukraine inside their own half. Lines are open for 606. 08085 909 693. Must be, surely. Yes, they are. So Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton waiting to take your calls. Hashtag BBC 606. Text 85058 to book your call with Aaron Paul and Chris Sutton to talk about this England performance and who you thought were the main players today. Bukayo Saka certainly caught the eye in the first half as Ukraine passed it through the middle and now out to the left-hand side, and on the halfway line England just dropped back into possession, and there's going to be another England change very shortly, and Jack Grealish is going to come on. 2 changes also coming on for England. Conor Gallagher, so Gallagher and Grealish, the 2 Gs, will be coming on. Here's Zinchenko, middle of his own half, turns it to Svatok on the right-hand side. Now out to the right here, where Stepanenko gives it back infield to the fair head. Zinchenko, left-footed ball from him, but Maguire will just let that through. And it does roll all the way through back to Jordan Pickford. So England's next matches, there are 2 more games to play this season in these qualifiers, but not until June, the first match in Malta. England going to Malta when all the holiday makers will be there, so if you're planning on that, you should get booked up. In fact, you probably should have booked up already for Malta, I would say. And then at home against North Macedonia, but that is at Old Trafford, because it's concert time at Wembley, so Old Trafford for that one against North Macedonia. Here now, England with Henderson to Saka on the right-hand side. Toney waits in the middle. Henderson with a cross, but he's got too much on that. But however, Bellingham's able to peel away. Bellingham now in the right-back area. Chilwell with the cross, but that's headed back out of the penalty area, out to the England left here, where Chilwell allows it to roll out of play, and England will make a double change now. Liechtenstein 0, Iceland 6 is the latest score, and Andrej Gudjonsson has scored again. So is that 4 now that he's scored? No, it's not. Gudjonsson has scored. The son of Ida Gudjonsson, who you will recall. So England now making these changes. James Maddison, so his first start for England is over. How do you feel he's done, Dion Dublin?
I think he's done brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. He's come here, he looks comfortable, he's got the ball, he's just playing exactly the same as he does for Leicester. He's been outstanding for Leicester. He was outstanding for his country today. Brilliant debut for him.
And Jude Bellingham also, such a popular young man, 19 years old, the Borussia Dortmund midfielder, who, to my mind, has got future England captain written all over him, maybe next England captain, when Harry Kane eventually decides he's had enough, probably at the age of about 42. But Bellingham is replaced by Conor Gallagher, so Jack Grealish is on for his 31st cap, and Conor Gallagher his 6th. And Jack Grealish, who I'm sure, after missing that chance in the first half in Naples, which in a roundabout way led to England having an uncomfortable second half, will also be looking for the opportunity to do what he can here. So 2 changes for England. Now Liechtenstein 0, Iceland 7. And England take the throw on the left-hand side. Harry Maguire into the centre circle. John Stones. Now back out to the left-hand side to Maguire again, who will pass it all the way back to Jordan Pickford. So 2-0 England, 5 Live and the World Service from the BBC. 606 on the way on 5 Live. 08085 909 693 to book your call. And then more commentary Tuesday night. Scotland against Spain on 5 Live, and Wales against Latvia on Sports Extra. Here's Chilwell down the left-hand side. Chilwell, and then Grealish is able to find Chilwell. Chilwell gets away, congested penalty area, rolls it across. Gallagher's there and it's blocked. Oh, Gallagher on the stretch had an opportunity there to score his first goal for England, but was denied.
I think it would have been his first touch as well. He went from the touchline where he came on, he just jogged into the box and it just fell to him there. Chilwell really doing well there, and he's 8 yards out. He should really be scoring. It's a side foot. He's reaching anywhere, any side, either side of the keeper he's in, it goes straight at the keeper.
Yeah, he just threw a right hand at it and deflected it round the post. So there's a corner for England from the left. Chilwell, this is a deep one. Maguire heads it across the 6-yard box, but it bounces up into the gloves of goalkeeper Trubin, and we've got 3 minutes to play plus added time.
Yeah, and that was Grealish. The header down was from Harry Maguire, should I say, down into the ground, and it's just in front of Jack Grealish. You just can't get anything on it.
Gallagher very nearly onto the ball on the edge of the penalty area. It was just smuggled away by Ukraine out to Zinchenko, who's actually just going to run it back into his own half, and then slips it to his left to Sudakov. Long ball from him, but Pickford's able to drop to his knees and claim the ball into his gloves. So this is the final match, only the second match that England have played here at Wembley this season, but that's it. And the next match here for England will be the friendly against Australia in October. England passing the ball out from the back. Rice gets his head down and uses Henderson, who goes back to Harry Maguire. More paper aeroplanes. There's been a glut of them today as well. We did have a Mexican wave at one stage as well. Maguire still inside his own penalty area. 2-0 England led at half-time. Another paper aeroplane comes down from the seats above there, the posh seats up there, aren't they, above our heads?
Mischievous, posh people up there throwing aeroplanes.
Chilwell, then back to Maguire, and Maguire to Henderson, and then out towards the far side to John Stones, who will just walk it forward and use his clubmate Kyle Walker, and then back it goes in towards the edge of the penalty area. Ukraine going to make another change. Konoplyanka is going to come on, the veteran Konoplyanka, who actually scored here when Ukraine were here in 2012 in a qualifier, World Cup qualifier, in which Steven Gerrard was sent off in that match. It finished 1-1. Rice out to the right-hand side to Walker, and then Henderson again, but England just knocking it around on the halfway line. Rice comes short, but Walker goes all the way back to Stones, and then Pickford again just in front of his penalty area. Maguire, seats appearing now, empty red seats. People have decided they've seen enough and are heading towards either the car parks or the public transport. Saka now on the right-hand side. Jack Grealish waiting on the edge of the box. Tony's there as well. Walker on the overlap, gets the cross in, but it's blocked behind for a corner, almost at source. A corner for England from the right.
Yeah, just patient play. The game's really slowed down now. England in total control. They'll get over the line with this one, but it's just making sure that you defend well, concentrate well, get it over the line, don't concede.
So here comes Yevgeny Konoplyanka, who now plays in Poland, in the beautiful city of Krakow for Cracovia, after an excellent career. As I say, 33 years old, and he is on the number 10 for his 87th cap. England with a corner. Jordan Henderson is going to take this from the right flank. From Jordan Henderson. Don't see him taking corners too often, do you? Left foot raised, little steps, and then Henderson delivers it towards Maguire, who heads it over the crossbar. He'll be kicking himself there, Harry Maguire. He got away from the defender, 8 yards out, and steered it with that big forehead, inches over the top of the bar.
You can see it all the way, and I know why. I'm thinking to myself, Jordan Henderson's only gone over there because it's not going to be an outswing, it's not going to be whipped, it's going to be pinged to the far post. Harry Maguire's seen it all the way, and he just put too much pace on it. A lot of goal to aim at, misses the target.
Dion, you were licking your lips there, weren't
I
you?
I was, and it's not the chocolate bar, it was the cross.
Ukraine coming forward again, but we are now in added time. So while the corner was taken, we've moved into added time. 3 minutes before the game's over, and Ivan Toney gets a touch, then gets the ball back from Henderson. In fact, fallen to Gallagher. Toney making ground through the middle. Gallagher running at the Ukraine defence. Gallagher slipped it to Grealish, puts his foot on it, shoots, saved by the goalkeeper, but he shoveled it out with his gloves to Konoplyanka, who put it away. I thought for a moment there it might have fallen to Toney, but Konoplyanka put it behind corner.
Yes, he's just trying to get it out of his feet, Gallagher, so he can drive and drive and drive. He decides to go with Grealish on his left, Toney's to his right. He's spoilt for choice. Grealish just not quite hitting it how he'd like to.
It's going to be another Henderson corner, Dion. So he's wandering over there to take this from the right. 2-0 England lead, 6:06 on the way on 5 Live. Maguire, in fact, it's taken short by Henderson to Saka, one of the England goal scorers today. Henderson looking for the run from Saka, but keeps possession, then goes to the corner flag, plays it off the defender, and it bounces behind. In actual fact, that's given as a free kick by Henderson. The defender went down rather theatrically there, but it is a free kick for Ukraine in their own left-back position.
Just Henderson there, just trying to eat up a bit of time. Saka came out from the box and tried to keep the ball, but nothing happened on that one.
So Ukraine with the ball with Matvienko. Long and left-footed from him. England are all over this. Gallagher is onto it, but he wins the free kick. So forward and right of the centre circle. Gallagher gets quickly up. We've already played 2 minutes, so we're in the last minute of added time. England just seconds away from making it 2 wins out of 2. 2 of the toughest matches in the group. Italy away, and then Ukraine at home, playing their first match in the group with the spirit, this great spirit of Ukraine behind them. But England, it would seem, have done enough with those 2 goals in 3 minutes towards the end of the first half. Ukraine winning a free kick in front of their own penalty area, and I think that will be the last of the action. Sudakov having been fouled, it's a free kick. Matvienko takes it, and there we are. There is the final whistle here at Wembley Stadium. And it's a flying start for England to this European Championship qualifying campaign. A win in Naples on Thursday night. A great result that. But Gareth Southgate said it would only be a great result if they followed it up with a win here today against Ukraine at Wembley. And that's exactly what they've done with those first half goals from the record man Kane and Bukayo Saka. Dion Dublin.
Yeah, it wasn't blistering in the second half, but they did what they needed to do. They scored their goals. When they did have the possession in the first half, they looked very, very good. Keep that concentration, keep that game management up. We just have to do more in the second half, in my opinion, but that is 2 wins out of 2. Couldn't have asked for a better start.
England top of the group after beating Ukraine here at Wembley by 2-0.
Thank you, John. Thanks to Ian. Thanks to Dion. All 3 are going to stay with us. Stephen Warnock is here as well. I mean, Dion just made the point there, Stephen, that if there is a criticism, they've got to be better in the second half of matches, but 2 good first half performances has been enough in the first 2 games.
Yeah, to be honest, when I was watching the game, I was thinking, are the players thinking it's easy enough that we can go through the motions in the second half? We're ready for the weekend, so they're not gassing themselves out too much. They're more thinking of club football, going back and being in a good place. Because I don't really think Ukraine were great. I thought they were very poor, to be honest with you. Organised to a certain degree, but never ever felt threatened by them. And you only have to look at the stats. 18 shots from England, 3 from Ukraine, none on target from Ukraine, 8 on target from England. That sort of tells you everything. I think my biggest criticism would be, in a game like that, and I don't know what the guys think, what everyone's thinking about this, I would have liked to have seen Declan Rice move to centre-back, so you've got someone to stride out with the ball, someone better on the ball in possession, because Ukraine were never going to hurt us at the back, and I just wondered whether you could have brought on someone else into midfield and maybe change things up a bit, because if you're going to dominate possession, then dominate it with better players on the ball as well.
Dion?
Yeah, listen. Again, I think we're all in agreement that we need to. I believe that this game should have been. Stephen's right. It could have been 3 or 4. I think if we're playing against, when we start to play against top end teams, with all due respect to Ukraine, when we do that, if we play like we do we did in Naples in the second half, and here today in the second half, the teams that we're playing against will score goals. They'll create more chances. They'll get more shots on target. So we've got to be careful not to rely on first half performances to get us through to where we need to be. We are better than that. We've got better players than that, and we need to be more ruthless. That's what I would say.
Yeah, as I was saying late on in the match, 8 of this team that started today started in Naples on Thursday night. He didn't make the changes until quite late in the match. I think that there was probably an effect of that, but what Stephen says is a very fair point. An opportunity maybe just to have a little look at something like that.
OK, John's going to go off and speak to the England manager, speak to some of the England players. If we get the chance to bring you any of that during the what remains of the programme, we will do it, of course. Ian Dennis is staying with us, Dion Dublin and Stephen Warnock as well. What impressed you most, Dion, Ian, Stephen, over the first 2 matches that we've seen then from this England team in the group, apart from the fact they've got 6 points on the board?
I think the start of the games, the organisation, the pace that they're playing at when they kick off or the game starts, they just look very, very good. Bellingham and Rice, the balance there is incredible, and that's working so well. The relationship between Saka and Kane is very good as well, even though they're not playing alongside each other. As a centre forward, Kane gets in some really good positions when Saka's on the ball. So I just think the partnerships and relationships in this squad of players, not just the starting 11, is getting so much better. I mean, Stones has been brilliant. Maguire doesn't look as though he's having a not very good season, which is what he is doing at the moment at Manchester United. And I think relationships and partnerships is what I would take from it.
I just look at it and go, Jude Bellingham, what a phenomenal player, what a talent.
19 years.
Yeah, but just to think where he's going to be at in the Euros, then where he's going to be at the World Cup as well, with more experience. I just think the intelligence of him, how he plays, players will be looking now where they'll be thinking, how do we stop him? How do we negate it? What his qualities are? And that will free up other players. And when you look at the performance of James Maddison tonight, which I thought again was great, then you go now, okay, so what do we do? How do we sort out Saka? How do we sort out Maddison? How do we deal with Bellingham? Now we've got real talent on the pitch, and then you've got quality to come off the bench as well. So for me, it's utilising that to the best of the ability that you can.
I think you look at the individuals. Obviously, Kane, Maddison, first start today. Rice, Bellingham, Stones. They've all impressed when they've been given the opportunity. And I think then, as a collective, that second half performance where they had to dig in against Italy, I think that will have really fueled the belief. You could easily have been coming into this game with a bit of a downer had they been 2-0 up and had they squandered that lead against Italy in Naples. But the fact that they didn't, and there were elements of it, I think, from a collective, that they actually believe now that this England team, that next step, which is the hardest step to take, I think there is a belief that they can actually do that, this England group.
Yeah, there's some lovely scenes, Ian, at Wembley at the moment with the Ukrainian players and their supporters.
Yeah, the Ukrainian support has been over 4,000 in the far right-hand corner, and towards the end, before the final whistle sounded, they were jumping up and down in unison, all decked out in the yellow and blue. And then at the end of the game, the Ukrainian players, to a man, their entire coaching staff, went over and acknowledged that immense support in the far corner. I mean, Zinchenko spoke yesterday so well, where he thanked everybody in the UK for the support that they've given to Ukraine, but he also took the opportunity to thank the Ukrainian army. He said, we're so grateful, and I know after covering them in the World Cup playoff games against Scotland and Wales, that they were getting messages from the front line, and he was saying yesterday that everybody has lost something in Ukraine. And obviously it's a nightmare. We're approaching 400 days since that war begun, and I think this football game just offers a brief respite from the horrors back in their homeland.
Yeah, Stephen, I've got Stephen Gerrard on my television at the moment talking about this England performance, and when you mentioned Jude Bellingham, he's the player that immediately springs to mind. Do you think that's the next England captain that we're talking about there? I know the fella that scores a goal every time he plays has got the armband at the moment, but this is a teenager who's gone to Dortmund, and when Marco Reus doesn't play, an Englishman is the captain of the team that's top of the Bundesliga as a teenager, which is remarkable anyway. But do you think that Jude Bellingham ultimately is going to be England's next captain?
And also doing it in a different language on the pitch as well. Trying to communicate in a different language. I just think it shows the maturity, how much he wanted to push himself as a person to be able to do that. He by all intents and purposes, I don't know anything, so I'm not putting anything out there. There's every chance he could go to Real Madrid, so then you've got a German, Spanish-speaking player who could thrive at Real Madrid, and you look at that and go, what a phenomenal player. Could he be captain of England? Absolutely he could, because he's got that aura about him already. He's got a presence about him. But it depends how long Harry Kane is playing for England and what have you. So I think depending on when Jordan Henderson decides to call time on his England career, and I think that's still a way off, I think he could potentially become the vice captain.